Hello, this is a short supply haul video from my recent visit to our local art store called the Gilded Rabbit. Just went in for get a little brush, a very specific brush, but ended up picking up a couple more items because they were all a little bit on sale and I couldn't resist. So I got a black golden acrylic because I don't have a black one yet, a couple of Derwint pencils that were 25 cents. They were on clearance. They were in these muted colors that I really like, so I couldn't resist picking some up. And this is the brush that I did go in for. It is a scrubber brush. It's supposed to help you lift watercolor paint off the paper. There is one on Jackson that I believe Jackson Art that's called Eradicator. And I saw a couple of people use it before and I kind of wanted to test it out. And I also got some oil pastels, which are in this little pouch. Can we just appreciate how nice the paper is that they package the things in? Oh my god. I was trying really hard not to rip it. One got stuck in there. They also were on sale, so I had to try some. I've never tried oil pastels before. I've never tried any pastels before, so this is quite a different experience. This one was the Midnight Blue. This one is a Celestial Blue. I was trying to see if my camera would pick up the font, but it's a little too shiny. This one is a Violet Cobalt, and the lemon yellow is the one that had a cancer warning on it. That's the sticker that I'm going to be taking off here in a minute. They were a little bit sticky, the papers. So I'm going to do a little swatch test, and the paper I'm using is Canal watercolor paper. They are a paper company here in Canada called Saint-Armand. The Canal is their machine pressed watercolor paper. So first one I'm testing is the Derwint Coloursoft Petrol Gray, and it's a really nice soft pencil that I was able to layer quite well. I did enjoy the feeling of that pencil. Probably was not the best idea to test the pencils on the watercolor paper, but I really wanted to try out the brush here, so we're just going with it. Next one up is Derwint Studio. I have never heard of this line of Derwint pencils before, but I did try it out also on colored toned paper, and it looked really good on there. They are a little bit hard. They kind of remind me of the way Prismacolor Very Thins are. Very hard to see on the white paper, but it looks much better on the toned. This one is the Straw Yellow. I'm not the biggest fan of yellow, but I did quite like that one. It's very more in a muted side. And here getting my watercolor palette out to test the scrubber brush. I'm going to put down some watercolor first, and I'm using Daniel Smith Solidite Genuine. It's currently my favorite blue. Next are the oil pastels, and they were stinky. It kind of smelled a little bit acetone and a little bit stale. They're not too bad, but I ended up putting them into a tin just so they don't sit out in the open. I did try smudging them. They did come off a little bit, but they didn't quite spread on this paper. Celestial Blue was the hardest of them all. It wasn't as soft as the other ones. I really did enjoy using them. It's a really interesting, buttery, sticky feeling. They go very well on top of everything, so this is kind of what I was gonna use them for in my mixed media drawings. And Violet Cobalt Light was the least pigmented, I guess. It was not as opaque as others, so I had to try to put a lot of it, and it doesn't go very well on top of the other colors. The rest of them mix pretty well together and go on top of each other, but this one just doesn't seem as strong. Now that the watercolor is dry, I'm trying the brush. I did put it in some water, and then I'm just dragging it through the dried watercolor. Just dabbing it with a paper towel. It did a very good job taking the color off. I quite enjoyed the process of doing it, so I ended up doing it a couple more times. You do have to clean the pigment off the brush before you next go through. The more water you use on your brush, the easier it is to take the color off, but the less control you have over how fat the line comes out. And the last one is Golden Acrylics Mars Black. And it is their full body, heavy body acrylic. It dried out a little bit more matte than most acrylics do, which I quite liked. It was very nice to spread, and it did take a bit of time to dry, but it was pretty quick. gonna do a close-up of everything now that it's dry.